Hello and welcome everyone, this is Type V3 and today we're taking a look at the Marvel Universe Greatest Battles comic packs, Thanos and Adam Warlock. Now let's start by freeing these mitten package toys. Now Adam Warlock does have a simple and understated look, but because the whole thing is either metallic or glossy, it just looks like candy. Almost delicious, especially that cape. Now the head sculpt is very detailed, but it is weird that his skin is almost the same color as his hair. I don't know what's going on there. The paint details themselves are put on great. However, the collar and the skull do seem to suffer from a little bit of bleed through on the red. Now, Adam Warlock is based off the new Marvel Universe standard male body, so he's got some good articulation. I mean, he's got a ball-jointed head on a hinge, which is nice. He's got universal jointed shoulders, a bicep swivel, an elbow joint, a wrist swivel, upper torso, waist, ball-jointed hips, thigh swivel, double-jointed knees, shin swivel, and an ankle rocker along with a pivot. So a lot of good stuff here. The only problem is this cape. As good as this cape looks, it kind of gets in the way of everything. There's no real meaningful pose you can make him have without that cape sort of getting in the way. And these double-jointed knees, as much as I like double-jointed knees, I almost felt like this figure didn't really need it because there's almost no pose you're going to get with him using or taking advantage of those knees because that cape's in the way. And another thing about this cape is it makes the figure incredibly back heavy, and when he has such small feet, and this figure obviously doesn't come with a stand, he just tends to fall back a lot. So I don't know, I'm kind of conflicted on all this amazing posability because on one hand, yeah, it's nice to have, but on the other hand, they're all really loose, and I almost kind of wish that maybe if they cut out all this articulation, gave us higher quality plastic that didn't feel so mushy, or at least was a bit more solid, we would have had a better figure overall. Now moving over to accessories, Adam does come with a staff, which is probably the best painted thing in this set. I absolutely love the metallic brown and black shading. However, the more exciting accessory is the Infinity Gauntlet, and even though it is exciting, it's kind of bland. I mean, the yellow is dull, no shading, and the gems just don't really stand out. But the biggest problem with the Infinity Gauntlet is its posability. Because it's essentially a clip-on item, you can only really have them in so many poses before it just looks kind of stupid. It was a bit of a disappointment. I kind of wish they just replaced his whole forearm with the Infinity Gauntlet, but I can see why they wouldn't. I mean, cost issues and whatnot. Now, changing gears, let's take a look at the second figure in this set, and that is Thanos. And this is probably the reason you're going to pick up the set, if at all. And this guy's totally worth it. He is beautiful, especially that head sculpt. It's brand new, and it is just full of detail and pretty impressive when you consider how small this guy is. Now, the paintwork is also awesome on the rest of the figure. There's some nice black shading on the blue, and there's some even cooler metallic orange shading on the gold. As a whole, the figure works wonderfully, and it just looks stunning. Now, even though he's a larger scale figure, Thanos actually has some pretty good articulation. To start things off, he has a ball-jointed head that's on a hinge, universal jointed shoulders, a bicep swivel, elbow joint, and a wrist swivel, as well as the upper torso. Unfortunately, no waist, ball-jointed hips, double-jointed knees, and a shin swivel and an ankle pivot. Now, here's the thing, I have some problems with this articulation as well, because yes, he does have all this great stuff, but they're all limited in some sort of way. For example, the ball-jointed hinge neck, because of the way the head is sculpted and because of his neck piece, you can't really push it up or down. And the side-to-side is very limited. Not that you'd want him to twist his head farther than that, but it's still annoying. This elbow joint, first of all, it's not very big in what it can do. And secondly, this part of the wrist or the glove kind of hinders how far it can actually bend, so it does kind of suck. Now, the ball-jointed hips, yeah, they're nice, but they are limited by the skirt, so he can't really go up or back. As well as these double-jointed knees. They really, in my opinion, don't really add too much. I mean, I guess you can argue, yeah, he gets more of a bend, but and honestly, what's the point? Because it's not like his ankles can pivot far enough to where he can stand, and it's not like there's a noticeable difference in height, so like the Adam Warlock figure, I just don't really know if all this articulation is really benefiting these small 3 3/4 inch figures. Again, he's got very loose joints, and he feels very mushy. It feels like if I spread his legs or put a joint out far enough, it's just going to come back about another ½ inch, and I just don't know. I kind of wish that this had better quality plastic instead of all these highly articulated points. But it could just be me. Now, the last thing that this set comes with is a reprint of the 3rd issue of the Infinity Gauntlet, and I really like this idea. It's meant for those casual collectors out there who aren't really familiar with the Marvel Universe and want to know why these two figures are packaged together. It's a nice little touch, but it is a shame that they didn't pick a comic in which both characters shared a same panel. And to be honest, the issue by itself is kind of meaningless, but I like the idea as a whole. It's really nice. Taking a step back and looking at this set in its entirety, I think I'm pretty conflicted on my thoughts. On one hand, you have two awesome characters who are painted really well, they've got some good articulation, but then on the other hand, those joints are finicky, plastic quality is mushy, and more often than not, I found myself frustrated rather than having fun when I was playing with these guys on my desk. Also, not including figure stands is a huge blow to this set. Overall, I think that if you're a casual or completist Marvel Universe collector, you're definitely going to want to pick this one up. However, in the grand scheme of things, as far as toy collecting goes, it's really hard to justify why you should pay the $20 that this set charges you, especially when there's other toys out there who offer better value for money. Anyways, this has been Type V3. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys next time.